And welcome in everyone to this week's episode of Craze's Corner. Just me and Will again. How we doing tonight, Will?
I'm doing okay. I don't know what happened to the fearsome foursome, but
I don't
the,
know.
the, the two of us will carry it.
Absolutely, we
Hey,
will. We got a Lakers game is on right now, so we're recording while the Lakers game on, repping. We'll
okay.
watch the game once we are done here, but we got a few topics. We're going to talk about some guys coming back from injury or some guys that have just been put into the starting lineup. Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back either this week, next week. He should be back soon. And that leaves us with a big dilemma in the Chiefs running back room. Is it going to be Kareem Hunt? Is it going to be Pacheco? Are they going to work him in fully right off the injury, or are we going to see Hunt be the more valuable back for a few weeks? I think it's going to be tough, but I think Kareem Hunt could very well end up in the goal line running back role and the pass catching role. So if I had to pick someone to score more points rest of season once they come back, I'd probably lean Hunt because I think they're going to be careful with Pacheco. I don't think they're going to use him as their every down back, and I think Kareem Hunt's skill set lends him to be the touchdown scorer and possibly the third down back, which in an offense that doesn't have as many weapons as it once has, it should be a very valuable role. What do you think? Are you in on Pacheco or Kareem Hunt?
I think for this year, I'm with Hunt. And I think to your point, Zach, it's going to be like Casey's already playing for the Super Bowl, and they're doing roster management. Just look at the trades they've made recently. It's all about roster management, and I think they're very conscious already of making sure guys are well rested for the end of the year and the playoffs. For fantasy owners, oh God! So I think Hunt, to your point, takes a lot of it. But I think the last 2 or 3 weeks of the fantasy season, I think it could start seeking more balance. Now, if Hunt gets hurt, it's all out the.
If either one of them comes in and gets hurt, then obviously
Yeah.
the other one's a for sure start. But I think as you said, they want to make sure he's healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah.
He was huge in their playoff run last year, Pacheco was. And Kareem Hunt has looked good in this Chiefs offense. So it's not like they need to put Pacheco back in, rush him back, and get him more touches.
And it allows them to manage this season in the future because Hunt maybe got a year or two left.
Yeah, right? But he's not under contract.
And he's not under contract, and so use him. They're going to use him. I think they're going to run Hunt until they can't run him no more.
Yeah, that's what I would do if I was the Chiefs, and I think that's what they're going to do. So we're both on Pacheco, we're both on Hunt, but Pacheco could be more valuable as the season progresses, possibly championship week.
So, question in a dynasty league: is this the time to try to go get Pacheco?
I would wait until he at least comes back and Hunt is getting, like, if what we think is happening and Hunt gets most of the work, then maybe. Yeah. Because right now, with what we've seen from the Chiefs, they'll just bring in another running back to work with Pacheco, even if they don't bring Hunt back. So I'm not super in love with his dynasty value.
There's the problem.
Right? It's the fact that they're not going to just have one running back really kind of scares me. So I would avoid trading for him unless you can get a really good deal and someone's worried. But yeah, not exactly the guy I'm targeting on a trade market, but guys that values are going up, and that's the Indianapolis Colts wide receivers. The team just announced today that Joe Flacco is going to be starting for the foreseeable future. So this is not just like a 1-week thing. Joe Flacco is now their quarterback moving forward. Steichen said that he gives them the best chance to win, which is what they're trying to do. Anthony Richardson heads to the bench. Josh Downs and Michael Pittman, to me, are both now week in, week out starters. They're going to be extremely consistent. I think this is good for Jonathan Taylor. Those receptions are going to be there where they weren't going to be there with Anthony Richardson. So I think overall for the Colts offense and their fantasy weapons, I'm 100% in on all three of those guys to start them probably as, maybe wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and then Jonathan Taylor is obviously a running back 1 rest of the season as long as Joe Flacco's there. You agree?
Oh, especially on Downs. Because it's clear as day the production difference between Richardson at quarterback with Downs and Flacco.
Yeah, and Downs has been even last week with Richardson, the only big plays the Colts had were Josh Downs. And he was able to make things happen. So I like Downs a lot.
And don't you think that I think Richardson watching the games, because I don't think he had he has a natural QB wide receiver relationship with Downs for whatever reason. Even this past week where he finally started throwing it downs, it was a very deliberate play call, and the coaches were like, look for downs.
Yeah, or he was just wide open down the field with no one around him.
Yeah, I'll take. Hey, I took those points. Yeah, but it's Flacco by far for Josh Down owners. Flacco by far is the better quarterback for Josh Downs.
Yeah, I agree. For fantasy wise, I could not agree more. Joe Flacco is great for this offense, and they're both going to be valuable. Pittman, he really hasn't done anything this year. In my followers league, he was actually traded for Zach Charbonnet. Or just earlier this week, someone was looking to get some running back help, and Charbonnet is coming off a decent week, and they traded Pittman. And then as soon as that happened, Joe Flacco's named the starting quarterback. So that's a terrible trade. And then one last question here. We're going to keep it short and sweet and to the point. Nico Collins is expected to return in week 10, and the Texans just lost Stephon Diggs. Yeah. Nico Collins, as he's currently missed 3 games, and he is currently 9th in the league in receiving yards. To me, when Nico Collins returns, he's the number 1 wide receiver. If you can get him on any of your teams, if he's on a team that maybe doesn't have a good record, go look for Nico Collins. Give up whatever you have to get him, because he's going to be a guy that wins you your championship. And I'm very much so in on Nico Collins being the wide receiver 1 week 10 onwards. What do you think? Do you think he can do it? Or?
Oh, I think he can. I mean, look, it's obvious just watching the Texans without him, right?
Yeah.
Of who he is. But let me tell you, as a Mechie owner, if Mechie's available in your league, go grab him. Because I actually think he's going to emerge over the next couple of weeks. Because
definitely is this
a chance?
This week against the Jets on Thursday night, if one of the Texans wide receivers, whether it's Mechie or Hutchinson's going to break out, it's got to be this week, because Stephon Diggs isn't playing and Nico Collins isn't playing. So it's got to be this week. Let's see. I like Mechie coming out of college just as much as you did. So I hope it's him, but.
Well, he had it when he got in. I mean, 4 targets, 3 receptions. It's a shame because he got hurt, right? And then they stacked that wide receiver room. And honestly, they hit it with Collins and Dell. But right now, who's the number 2 receiver on this team?
Target-wise, it's probably going to be Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, Joe Mixon, and then one of these wide receivers needs to step up. Yeah. It could be even Robert Woods. They could just go with old reliable and just throw the ball to him. But they're going to have to put up points against the Jets because this Jets team they're desperate to win. And the Jets are currently favored looking at Las Vegas odds. So that's an interesting – the 2-6 Jets are favored over the 6-2 Houston Texans, which I thought was interesting. 78% of the money's on the Texans for the upset, though.
Okay. Sometimes Vegas, you are. What do you know that nobody else knows?
They know this is Aaron Rodgers' comeback game. This is where he's going to put it all together. Clearly, this Jets team needs to do something quick, or they have no chance of making the playoffs. Well, there you go. There's 3 topics we just talked about: the Chiefs backfield, we talked about the Colts wide receivers, and Nico Collins and the Texans wide receivers. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, Will, for joining me.
Thanks, Zach.
We'll be back again next week.
See y'all next week.